Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong and today we are doing a repurchase review for the month of December. And if you are new to my channel, repurchase review is where I go through all of the new items that I reviewed or featured on my channel that month and whether or not I would rebuy them, any updated thoughts and things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. We're working our way backwards. And we are starting off with the Dior Lip Maximizers. So this is the new reformulated version of these. You can see you've got the Dior kind of like on the angle here on the corner. And that's how you can tell this apart from the older packaging. And I have to say, I really like these. I would repurchase these. They are a hefty price tag. They're $40 US now. So Dior did increase the price of these. They've been increasing the price of everything that has been coming out. So, you know, stay tuned. You know, next year we're seeing increased prices for like everyone. So anyway, these though, I do really like them. I have on the Valentino lipstick in 112R right now, but I have it topped with the Dior Lip Maximizer in the lavender holographic version. And I have to say, I really like these. They're comfortable. They're minty, but they don't feel as intense as the previous version, yet they still seem to be just as plumping and they're very comfortable. So yeah, overall, I would repurchase these and I would love to pick up some more in the future, but I did pick up a lot right now, so I'm good. I'm good for now. Next, we had the Byredo Purple Echo palette, and this was very disappointing for me. The packaging is gorgeous. I love the color story. It's a little bit more pink than I was expecting, but unfortunately, I did have an allergic reaction to this. And regardless of my personal allergy to it, I just felt like the formulas are not up to the typical Byredo standards. You can see here, you know, that some of them are really like firm in the pan. You really can't get much product up. I did get hard pan on both this last shade and this third shade after use, you know, so they're not as good as your typical Byredo Oyster or Nugget palettes. My personal favorites would be the Metal Boots in the Snow, Sciomancer, and the Disco. I feel like those three have the best formula and they're very consistent, whereas some of the others have been hit or miss, but this was definitely the worst performing palette, in my opinion, out of all of the Byredo Nugget palettes, formula-wise. And add on to that my allergic reaction, it was definitely a fail for me. Next, we have the Bobbi Brown Tokidoki collection. And I have to say, I think the packaging on this is cute. It's fun. It's a nice eyeshadow palette in here. It does lean warm, although it might look like it's a little cool with the inclusion of a couple of these shades. It really is going to be overall a pretty warm base palette. Let me go ahead and just swatch a few of these. So you can see this Bubble Love shade here. Looks cool in the pan. This is going to be your coolest shade in the palette, really. And here's the Rosa Latte. Really beautiful burgundy shade. We have Lolo Pessa. And, you know, it's a really nice palette. The formulas are nice. Everything's consistent in it. So if you like the color story, I think this is a really nice one to pick up. Some of the other items from this collection, though, are some permanent items just with limited edition packaging. So we have the Luxe eyeshadow in Sunstone. I love this. I think it is gorgeous. You don't have to get in this packaging, though, because it is available, you know, in the regular permanent line. But I think this packaging is really cute and fun. And I also got the classic Pink Glow highlighter. It's available in a mini size. Again, you've got the Tokidoki unicorn on there, or unicorno. And I just think it's a really cute collection. So I would repurchase the items I picked up again. But my favorites actually are these two permanent items, the Pink Glow and the Sunstone. This is the lip tint I picked up too. There are two. This is the shade, I believe it's Bear Cherry. Yeah, that I picked up. And you can see you can make this sheer, you can build it up. But I think it's just a nice, you know, soft red lip tint. So I like it. Next, we have the Chikuhodo Chocolat collection from the holiday collection. And I have to say, I really like it. You can see there's a beautiful gradient here. This is goat hair. There's also pine squirrel and so forth in the mix, you know, depending on which brush you're looking at. I have to say, I really like this set, and I think it's a really good value, and it's a great way to try out pine squirrel. And I feel like a totally round ferrule powder brush isn't as common as you might think. So I actually didn't really have any brush quite exactly like this in my collection already. So I thought this collection was a really good value, and it's gorgeous to boot. So I would definitely pick this up again. I absolutely love this brush set, and I think it's really nice. Now, I also picked up the Chikuhodo Cherry Blossom brush set. I also picked up their Winter Light collection brushes, which is in my November repurchase review. This was a repurchase, but the Cherry Blossom, it's a limited edition set. They have it for the holidays, but they also bring it out, you know, at other times. So there have been a few different iterations of this. I love the handles on here. And this is probably my favorite brush from the set. It's an angled powder brush, and it's large. I really, you know, I like it. Now, as for value, I think, you know, overall it's fairly priced, but I do think the Chikuhodo might be priced just a little bit better. Now, as for value, I do think that this set is fairly priced, and I think it's a really nice set. It's getting a lot harder to find sets without a lot of synthetic hairs mixed into your larger brushes. You know, it's very common to see the synthetics in some of your smaller brushes. But this one still has, you know, a lot of natural hair. So this is all natural hair here. And I feel like, you know, this is a time to buy these kinds of sets if you're interested. You will still be able to find sets, I'm sure, with all natural hair, but it will be harder. I think most of the sets will not be like completely natural hair next year. And I do think, you know, as with everything else, prices are going up. So I have to say, I would repurchase this again. I'm really happy with this set. I love all three of the brush sets that I picked up for the holiday season. They're really nice. Next, we have the Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette. And I have to say, I think this is a nice palette. I like it. It's not going to be for everybody. It's more of a niche palette. You do have quite a few shades that, you know, are similar. Even if they're not the same, they are definitely similar. You can see how many of those like greens we have in there. But overall, I think it's a nice palette. It's going to work well for people with a more fair complexion. But I do think there are going to be certain skin tones that struggle with the colors in here, you know, not being impactful enough. So for me, I would repurchase this one again, but it's not a favorite. So I like it, but I don't love it. I do think she has some other palettes out there that I prefer over this, but I have to say, you know, I do really like it, and it's one that I will use. So I would repurchase it, but it's not going to be for everybody. And we're actually almost done. This is like the shortest repurchase review ever. I feel like this month was just so many like favorites and things like that for the videos. But last up, we have the Cle de Peau The Foundation and the Chanel Sublimage Foundation, which this is not a new item, but it's new to me because they just expanded the shade range. So they finally have a shade for me. This is 01 Beige that I picked up in Chanel. And this is Cle de Peau The Foundation in I-10. And I do have a video comparing the two of them. And I have to say, I really do like both of them. The Chanel is definitely a better value, but there's something about the Cle de Peau that I just like a little bit more. However, it's significantly higher priced than the Chanel, like double the price. So I would honestly pick up both again, but the Cle de Peau is not going to be one that will probably, like, I'll always have around. There are so many great foundations that have a, you know, lower price tag that I feel like it's more like a special occasion splurge moment foundation for me. And the Chanel would be, you know, something a little bit more economical for daily use. So I have to say, though, you know, they're both really great. I would repurchase them both again, but if price were not an object, the Cle de Peau would be my personal choice between the two of them. And that's really it. That's everything new that I featured on my channel this month. I do have quite a few favorite videos that went up this month. You know, different like favorite lipsticks, obviously 2022 favorites and so forth. So if you're interested in those, definitely check them out. Let me know what you think. And I'd love to know what you picked up this month and what your thoughts were on those, any major wins or fails or so forth. And we have a ton of new videos coming out very soon with a lot of reviews. So definitely stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't yet. So thank you so much for tuning in, and Happy New Year.